I made almost every mistake you can make when buying my first infrared sauna. And if you're shopping right now, there's a good chance you're about to make the same ones. Most people shopping for an infrared sauna are often asking the wrong questions. They compare maximum temperature, heater count, wood type, whatever feature a company is advertising. But those usually aren't the things that determine whether you'll actually love your sauna or regret buying it. I want to walk you through the 5 things I wish someone had told me before I bought my first infrared sauna. And if you understand these 5 lessons, you'll have a much better chance of ending up with a sauna you're still happy with years from now. So right off the bat, number 1 has to be stop chasing maximum temperature. If you've seen any of my other videos on the channel, you'll notice that temperature readouts on a screen are not indicative of a really good sweat by themselves. Why? Because if you watch the videos, you'll see there's a little probe from the ceiling that's 1 inch from the top. That's where the temperature is being measured. It's a calculated temperature range, and that's not where your body is sitting. So just because there's an arbitrary number on the screen doesn't always mean more heat to your body. Check out the other videos on the channel to learn exactly why. Number 2, heater placement is more important than heater count. A lot of companies will advertise, oh, we have 12 supercalifragilistic infrared heaters in our sauna, and you're thinking, oh, well, that must be better than one with 6 or 8. Maybe, but where are they located? Where are they placed in the sauna? Are they stacked around your body so that you're getting the maximum far infrared coverage? Because that's the real workhorse in any sauna. Number 3, size affects more than just capacity inside. Meaning, just because a sauna will fit, 1 person or 4 person, that's not the only thing that you need to take into account when looking at size. Things like being able to turn sideways, putting your feet up. And there's more to it here. Don't just take it from me. We surveyed our 47,000 member Facebook group, and you know what everyone said? They wish they would have bought one size more. And it never was to fit their spouse or to add, 3 kids or sauna with a friend. It was so that they could be more comfortable and use it more frequently. And number 4, probably as important almost for your use case or your specific needs as heater layout, whether or not you get a good sweat, is installation, power requirements, and assembly. It matters a lot more than most people realize. Because if you see my videos that are clipped up, we'll say, hey, this is the best sauna for this situation. And then conversely, if you watch a different video, it'll say, hey, this is the best video for this situation. People see these clipped up and they're very confused. They're like, well, Matt, I thought you just said it was this brand, and then now you're saying it's this brand. My case in point exactly. It's not really about a brand, it's about a product fitting your needs and your electrical requirements and your installation limitations. So let's get into it. Number 1, how easy is something to put together, right? If this is for an elderly couple, if I was sending my parents or my grandparents to buy one of these, this is going to be part of the requirement. Why? Because most likely they're gonna have to hire a handyman or pay for white glove assembly service. Unless we get them into a sauna that's very easy to assemble, and we have a complete step-by-step, assembly guide on YouTube where you can follow it along and you're not just reading out of a little brochure with stupid little diagrams that are very difficult to follow. Conversely, there's some saunas behind me that are a lot more difficult to assemble. Number 1, they weigh a lot more, right? Number 2, you need a couple of tools to put them together. And number 3, it's not drop dead simple. Even if you followed my tutorial, a lot of people would still need to get help. This is okay if you know this up front before you select something. You just have to make sure that this is doable for your specific needs. A great example of this also is somebody sees an ad, it looks great in the pictures, they buy it, they get it in their garage, they start to unbox it, they hit a sticking point. They realize, oh my gosh, we can't put this together ourselves. We never even thought to go look at install tutorials before buying or check reviews or maybe look at Matt's Facebook group and see what other people say. Here's the problem. Now they can't park in the garage and they've scheduled out 2 weeks in order to get a handyman to come and install the sauna. What's worse is if they need electrical upgrade, which we'll get to in a second, they don't have that prepped either. So if you don't pay attention to these details before you buy, you could end up in a situation that leaves you in a pickle, something you didn't account for. And just like there is a build quality grade of good, better, best, there's an ease of assembly of easy, not so easy, and definitely not easy. You're gonna need to hire someone. And just as a real-time example, I don't know if you can see all the saunas behind me, but a real example of this is easy, not so easy, you're probably gonna have to hire somebody. You wouldn't know that just from looking at the pictures though. And don't get the wrong idea here. Just because something is easy or difficult to put together is not indicative, it does not correlated to build quality, because in this example, build quality is lacking. In this example, build quality is absolutely superb. Now keep in mind, after trying more than 30 saunas over the last almost decade, this is one of the biggest patterns that I've noticed. The best experience almost never comes from the spec sheet. It's always gonna be heater layout, a blend of build quality and price, and something that truly fits your space and you or your family's needs. So the best example of this is really me. I live in Florida half the year and I live in Maine the other half. Two very, very different climates. And this is two very different sets of spaces, electrical limitations, and use cases. Let me explain. In Maine, the majority of the year, we have to deal with freezing temperatures, 20 below zero. You know, you have an ambient temperature space that has to be accounted for way before the sauna. Where do you keep the heat? Anything that affects the ambient temperature or the heat up time affects the temperature swing. Temperature swing is, I need to go from 0 degrees all the way to at least 150 or so, 140. So it takes a lot more horsepower on tap, a lot more electricity to make that happen if the ambient temperature is not cared for. Complete opposite of this is Florida. I don't know what the temperature is today, but we're in Florida right now, and I think it's going to be 93, 94 today. We don't have that problem. It's actually the opposite problem. We don't need to preheat a sauna for an hour. You can preheat a sauna for 15, 25 minutes, and it is ready to go. The problem with this is if you were to just look at social media reviews online, or brand comparisons or brand reviews. Somebody will say, oh, go buy a Clearlight, go buy a Sunlighten, go buy a Heavenly Heat, go buy a Rocky Mountain, go buy a Radiant Health, go buy a LifePro. Insert any brand that you like here. The context is missing. They'll say, oh, this sauna is great. Meanwhile, they have it in a 93-degree garage and it heats up in 8 minutes. And if you take that same sauna with a poor heater layout and try and use it in a different climate, a different space, different electrical, some people are using extension cord adapters to try to power a 20 amp sauna on a 15 amp circuit, which is an absolute no-no, fire hazard, it doesn't back out. So then the next person buys it with this expectation and they're like, oh my God, this sucks. This is absolutely terrible. It doesn't work. Now the company is refusing, blah, 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 blah. Now you have these two polarizing types of reviews and you can't make heads or tails of it. This is contributing to analysis paralysis in this industry. I don't know what to do about it other than deliver the reviews that we have on the channel. So if you haven't seen those, check them out. So when you step back and look at all 5 of these points together, a pretty clear pattern really starts to emerge. The biggest mistake I see isn't people buying cheap saunas or expensive saunas. It's less about price. It's people buying the wrong sauna because they focused on the wrong criteria. If you keep these 5 things in mind, you'll make a much better buying decision and probably save yourself a lot of money and frustration. And if you're currently shopping for an infrared sauna, leave a comment below with your budget, your available space, and what you're trying to accomplish. I'll do my best to point you in the right direction. Or join the Facebook group. It's free. 47,000 group members, certified sauna community on Facebook. I'm Matt. We'll see you in the next one.